8 o'clock on top of the morning, The Edge. Welcome to The Legal Landscape. We're in season 2 of The Legal Landscape. Really interested in today's topic, Strata Developments. What a prospective strata lot owner needs to know. Over the past years, strata developments have become very popular in Jamaica. And there's a growing demand for housing in the city, which has led to an increase in multi-family dwellings across the corporate area, right? So high-rise buildings, they're certainly on the rise. Many Jamaicans aspire to buy into these coveted developments. But are you aware of the responsibilities that come with owning a strata lot? We are joined by Christina Brown, Associate in the Corporate and Commercial Department at DunnCox Attorneys-at-Law. She joins us to answer some questions on the topic Strata Developments, what a prospective strata lot owner needs to know. Good morning, Christina.
Good morning to you, Dion, and good morning to your listeners.
Well, Christina, let's jump right into it. What is a strata lot? And before you answer that, remember, let us remind our listeners, you've just got 10 minutes and we're keeping it tight this morning. Remember, you can call us with your questions at 876-906-9559 or send us a WhatsApp at 876-383-1166. So, Christina, once again, what is a strata lot?
Okay, so the registration Strata Titles Act defines a strata lot as a portion of land comprised in a strata plan. So the act basically allows for a building to be divided into smaller units, or as we call them, strata lots. And a typical example would be an apartment building. So each lot or each strata lot has a separate title called a strata title. And a strata lot owner has an interest in an individual portion of the building, which is really that space within their unit, and also an undivided share and interest in the common property of the development.
Okay, you said common property. So what is common property in a strata development?
Okay, so the common property is basically any property that does not fall within a strata lot. So it includes the external parts of the building, which all the proprietors would normally use and enjoy. So, for example, you have the walkways, the grounds, the elevators, the parking facilities, the recreational areas, etc. So these external sections of the building are owned by all the proprietors as tenants in common, proportionate to their respective unit entitlements. So if you should examine your strata title, you will notice that your interest in the common property is expressed as a fraction of the whole of the common property.
And there's also Strata Corporation. Can you define Strata Corporation and how it's created?
Okay, so a Strata Corporation is really a body corporate that comprises all of the owners in the strata development. And it is created when the strata plan is registered at the Office of Titles. So the entity is typically referred to as the proprietor's strata plan number, and a number would be inserted. Now, under the Act, the Strata Corporation has certain duties and powers. So, for example, you have securing insurance coverage for the building, managing and maintaining the common property and keeping them in a good state of repair, budgeting for the strata's expenses, collecting the maintenance fees, etc. And these duties and powers are exercised by a smaller subset of the proprietors called an executive committee that's selected by all of the proprietors at a general meeting.
All right. Well, we see where, let me tell you, first of all, we're speaking with Christina Brown, Associate in the Corporate and Commercial Department at DunnCox Attorneys-at-Law. We're inside the legal landscape looking at strata developments. Strata lot owners, Christina, sometimes complain about high maintenance fees. So what is the purpose of the maintenance payments in a strata development?
Okay, so strata lot owners are required by law to pay monthly maintenance contributions to the corporation. And this maintenance fee is based on the budgeted expenses of the corporation for the day-to-day operation of the common property. So some of these expenses would include like your gardening and janitorial services, utilities for the common areas, so electricity and water, security services for the complex, upkeep of amenities in the complex. So for example, your gym, tennis court, swimming pool, all of these luxuries come at a cost. So as you can imagine, Dion, the corporation has to have a cash flow to cover these current expenses. So it is very critical that maintenance fees be paid on time. And just a final point I want to mention on maintenance fees, the maintenance is sometimes based on the proportionate size of your unit. So if you should purchase a 2-bedroom apartment, your maintenance fee will likely be higher than your neighbor down the hallway who owns a 1-bedroom apartment.
Okay. But I just want to ask you this when it comes to maintenance fees. If I fail to pay my maintenance fees, what are the consequences?
Okay, so if maintenance fees are in arrears for more than 30 days, the corporation has to serve a written notice on the owner outlining the amount that is owed, the period for which it is owed, the interest accruing on the outstanding maintenance, and certain other things. Now, if it is that maintenance, outstanding maintenance, is not paid within 30 days of the date of receiving that notice, the corporation has the power to sell your strata lot by public auction or by private treaty, right? So you can let that one sink in. But before the power of sale can be exercised, the corporation has to satisfy the Commission of Strata Corporations that it has taken all reasonable steps or measures to recover the amount owing by the proprietor. So it's not exactly a walk in the park, right? And once the corporation has crossed that hurdle, it can then proceed with the sale of the strata lot. But the sale has to be in accordance with some very, very strict procedures outlined in the Act. And once the sale is completed, the proceeds are then applied firstly towards the costs incidental to the sale, the outstanding maintenance fees, and then if you had a mortgage, it would be also used to pay off your mortgage, and then whatever remains, which would be the balance, would be paid over to the proprietor. Now, there are other measures that the corporation can take under the Act to recover outstanding maintenance, including court action to recover, the outstanding fees, and also renting out the strata lots.
I have a question that's come in, Christina, on our WhatsApp line. Len and Don are in the ATL, that's Atlanta Morning, Georgia, joining us here on The Edge. They're asking, is there any allocation for Jamaicans living abroad in strata plans?
Allocation?
For Jamaicans living abroad in strata plans.
Well, if it is that you're abroad and you're interested in purchasing a strata lot, there are really no restrictions on that. Our laws don't restrict, residents abroad or overseas persons from purchasing or buying into a strata development.
So I hope that answers your question. Thank you for joining us on The Edge 105.1, 105.3 and on edge105.com. Christina, we often hear about bylaws in the context of strata properties. So can you explain what are bylaws and why are they so important?
Okay, so the bylaws are basically a set of rules which govern the management, the use and the enjoyment of the strata lots in the development and also the common property. And their purpose is really to promote smooth operation of the development, harmonious living among the proprietors, and also to enhance the value and the attractiveness of the property. So if it is that a developer does not intend to adopt the statutory bylaws which are outlined in the first and second schedule of the Act, he has to submit to the Titles Office, the set of rules that will govern the corporation when the strata plan is being registered. So some examples of rules would include no loud music. You have rules against, or rules regarding keeping pets, rules against hanging clothes on the balcony, rules related to designated parking, etc. So living in a strata community really requires cooperation of all the owners to ensure a peaceful enjoyment and occupation of their strata lot. So if it is that you're not very good at following rules, a strata development might not be the best investment for you. But if it is that you decide that, you want to go ahead and purchase a strata lot, it's very important that you get a copy of the bylaws and, you acquaint yourself with the rules that govern the strata.
Well, I think you've said the two magic words there. Look at the value and attractiveness for you.
Right.
I want to thank you, Christina. Very pertinent information you've given us. And before you go, do you have a hashtag did you know tip for us?
Well, not exactly a hashtag. It's really just a fun fact.
Mm-hmm.
So in February of this year, the Supreme Court made an order that Strata Corporation can hold their general meetings online via video conference. And it was really due to the prevailing, restrictions on gatherings due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So before this order was made, the requirement was really that proprietors attend the meetings and vote in person. So there was a requirement for actual physical presence. And with this order in place, proprietors can now attend the meetings and vote in person via electronic means.
Wow. Something we have to thank COVID for. That's, I tell you. Christina, we're looking forward to having you again. The Legal Landscape. We're in season 2. So I hope you enjoyed the episode this morning. Strata Developments, what a prospective strata lot owner needs to know. We had with us Christina Brown, Associate in the Corporate and Commercial Department at DunnCox Attorneys-at-Law. Thank you very much again, Christina.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks. Great morning indeed. Top of the morning, giving you the top information that you needed to know about strata lot ownership. Do join us next time for more on the legal landscape. It is now 13 minutes past 8 if you're setting your watch, setting your clock.